Hello, hi everyone. My name is Nishan, son of Tanasil. So for today, we are going to do an assignment for subject computer troubleshooting. So in this subject, we are choosing for three activities, which is like identifying PC components, computer disassembly and assembly. Last but not least is a computer configuration. So for this assignment, we would like to do with three participation, which is me as a Nishan and my fellow friends, Mr. Hare and Mr. Adi. So for the first part, we would like to go proceed with the identifying PC components. So in this activity, we would like to split into 12 components between our three ourselves and between four parts. For example, I will explain about four PC components and another friend will be explain four components and the last friend will be explain another four components. So total would be 12 components. So today we will going to explain about this assignment. So first we move with motherboard. So one of the main compulsory equipment in the PC would be the motherboard. So for this thing, I'm going to explain about the motherboard which I chose is Gigabyte B450 AORUS-M. So motherboard is equals to the main circuit board that connects between the communication and allow us to communicate between various components of computer such as CPU, RAM, storage. It also has provide necessary pathway for power and data flow between these components and often include slots for explanation card like GPU or SOC. In a clear manner, we can advise that by using the motherboard, we can able to input all other storage devices into the motherboard. For example, we can fix or apply the GPU graphic card. At the same time, we can apply the RAM and SSD and other features. So this is the motherboard. So this motherboard refers to lightning, which has the colorful lightning along the motherboard with RGB function. The chipset would be B450. The socket would be AM4. The RAM type would be DDR4. And the size would be micro ATX motherboard. And the RAM speed would be 3200 MHz, multi-GPU accessible with crossfire, and PCI slots available for two. And this motherboard also available for M.2 slot SSD, which is easy to transfer our data and store our data in lightning fast. Next, we go with power supply. So power supply, I would like to choose the Shin Power Shaking 250 power supply. So power supply unit is one of the main complementary unit for the PC component, which is the component will give all the power source to other component to enable in order to run those activities. So the power supply is the one of the main thing in PC. So this thing will convert AC power from your home or office into low voltage regulator with using DC power required by the internal regulator and components of the computer. It also supplies power to motherboard, drive, and other peripherals within the computer. For example, this power supply is stated as Shin Power King 250. This power supply has wattage of 250 watt and the length is 140 mm. Type is modular. Size is suitable for ATX, which is able to communicate with the current motherboard. Okay. So next we move to the casing. Case. This would be the case that we apply for this CPU. So the case is the main thing that enclose all the components in order to build a fully customized PC. So as you guys can see here, this is the basic CPU case. So the explanation of the CPU case would be like the enclosure that houses of all the internal components of the computer. For example, the motherboard, the RAM, the GPU, the PCU, all kind of components were stated are staying inside this sheltered box. So this means this case would be the house for all of the components in order to work together and implement the output to the display. So the case would be like the most important thing in order to keep all the other components to be safe. It also helps to protect these components from dust proof and also physical damage while often providing ports for external consultation. For example, by using this case, we can able to protect our internal components by pretending from any damage or dust proof and so on. Last but not least is our output device. Output device is one of the components that we have to deal with in the computer section. So for this thing, I'm going to explain about the output device. This monitor. This monitor refers to hardware that allow computer to communication information to the user. For example, common example including monitors. Monitors are playing the role as converting the data from the PC to explain in the visual form to the laptop, I mean the monitor. So the monitor also can play a certain role to expression the visual of what the activities done in the behind. Moreover, we can also state the other output devices such as audio output, visual output, printer, speaker, and more. So that's all from my part. I would like to transfer my section to Mr. Arif. Thank
Hi, my name is Harib Maza. Okay, for now, I will explain the component of the computer, which is CPU, Central Control Processing Unit, storage device, which is HDD and SDD, and the third one is CPU fan, and the last one is memory block, such as RAM. Okay, for the first one is CPU, Central Processing Unit. CPU is the brain of the computer, where the most calculation take place. It execute instruction from the software and will platform basic arithmetic, logical, and input-output operation. So I will choose the Intel Celeron 3900. Um, Frequency is 2800 Hz. Uh, for the frequency is also 2800, and the core is 2. Socket is LGA 1161 Skylake. For the voltage is 51 volt. Okay. For the second one is storage device. Okay. Storage device is store all your data, including the operating system, application, and personal file. For the SSD are faster than HDD, but typically more expensive. Okay, for the I will choose the Mortoni Isto 500 GB. Type HDD, size 500 GB, transfer speed is 210 MB. Okay, for the third one is CPU fan. Okay, CPU fan is for the for make CPU cool. It display heat generate during the operation. This prevent overheating and ensure the CPU run effectively. So I will choose the case fan. Sorry, I will choose Arctic Alpha 20 CO. Type is air cooler. Airflow is 45 CFM. Height is 77 mm. Socket LGA 1151 or LGA 7000 or LGA 1200. So for the last one is memory block such as RAM. So for the RAM, the function of the RAM is the system short-term memory. It's temporary store data that the CPU access while running program for faster access than the storage device. So I will choose the Team Group T-Force Dark Red, 4 GB and 2800 mHz. RAM type is DDR4. Frequency is 2800. Water cool is no. So that's it for me. I will pass to Mr. Adi.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Adi. For the first part is we going to expand more on the RAM section that was mentioned by Harid. So random access memory is a type of memory that is used to temporarily store volatile data, which is data that will be lost after the power is cut off. There are two types of main type of RAM, which is SRAM or static random access memory, as well as dynamic RAM, DRAM, or stands for dynamic random access memory. Uh, so for this, I will choose Corsair Dominator Platinum 4 GB. The lighting for the part is white for the clear vision. RAM type is DDR4 with frequency of 2666 megahertz. No water cooling system available for the RAM sticks. Next, we'll be talking about graphic performance card or GPU. Okay. So a graphic processing unit, also known as a graphical processing unit or GPU, is an electrical circuit designed to aid and speed up computer graphics and image processing on a variety of devices. All of these devices, including video cards, motherboards, mobile phone, as well as personal computers. So it works by performing mathematical calculations rapidly. By doing this, it reduces the amount of time needed for a computer to run multiple programs, allowing multitasking. So for this, we will choose Xi'an GeForce GTX 750 Ti Gamer. So for the VRAM, have a 2 gigabyte capacity with a core frequency of 1085 megahertz, a memory frequency of 1350 and 50 megahertz, a wattage of 60 watts with a max multi GPU of 1, and the length of the component itself is 147 millimeter. Okay, now moving on to some parts that are categorized as parts of water coolant system. So for the first part is reservoir or pump reservoir. So the function of pump reservoir in general is to hold or being a holding tank for the coolant and pump coolant supply. One of the most important reasons to include a reservoir is to continuously feed coolant directly to the pump to ensure a steady supply of coolant throughout the PC. And finally, filling aid. Filling a water loop with a reservoir is much easier than filling one without. Uh, all right. So for the reservoir part, we will choose Alpha Cool East Station DC Ultra with a complete lighting of RGB with a height of 110 millimeter in length, as well as a voltage of 5 watts. Okay. Next is the pipes that are also in liquid cooling. In liquid cooling system, pipes transfer coolant between the CPU and the radiator to keep the processor cool more efficiently than air cooling. For this part, we will put on the black flexible pipe, as to the added flexibility is helpful to set up a PC in a confined space, sorry. Okay, next will be the CPU block. Okay, a CPU block in the context of building a PC cooling system is the one of the most important component that sits directly on top of the CPU to release heat or dissipate it by transferring it to the liquid coolant circulating to the block. The CPU block's main function is to maintain lower CPU temperatures by the coolant, of course, by moving the coolant throughout the PC, improving performance and stability, especially during high workloads or overclocking, as to avoid extra heat on the machine. So for this, we will pick Alpha Cool East Block SPX in the color of black, with a socket available for AM4, AM5, LGA 1151, LGA 1200, LGA 1700, as well as LGA 2066. Okay, now finally we'll be going on to the connectors. Okay, the final part of the water cooling system for a PC includes connectors, components that join various parts of the liquid cooling loop, such as the water blocks, the reservoirs, the radiators, to ensure a secure and leak-free flow of coolant. They come in many different types, with butt fittings, compression fittings, and quick disconnection. But all of these offer the same specific advantage, which is the added flexibility, ease of installation, as well as the ease of maintenance on the PC. The main function of connectors is to create tight seals and allow for efficient routing of the tubing, which transfers the coolant throughout the PC, ensuring proper coolant circulation and cooling performance. For this, we will pick Alpha Cool A-Zappen 30mm fitting black. So that's all for this question.